to say, first of all, thank you all so much for coming tonight. It means a lot to us. It really does. You know, I said this at the we had an art show back in Philly a couple weeks ago, and you know, I don't want to speak for any of these guys because I was not a combat veteran. You know, my story's a little bit different, but I kind of feel like, you know, the shit that these guys have gone through makes them in a way, you know, invincible, and you know, like they don't need anybody, but at the same time, you know, we do need all of you, you know, and we do need that support. And so what I want to say is, Winter Soldier is continuing the tradition of Vietnam Veterans Against the War. Back in 1971, they held testimony to some of the horrible things that they saw and did in Vietnam, and we're continuing that tradition by holding testimony to the things that were seen and done in Iraq and Afghanistan, in the hopes that it'll hit home for the American public. You know, less than 1% of the population of this country serves in the military, and you know, it's different from the days of Vietnam. And you know, for a lot of people, it's like they don't want to know what's going on, and that's wrong. You know, it's wrong. We're a country. These are your countrymen here, and the shit they've gone through, you know, should not be ignored by any member of the American public. And so what we're asking you to do is to hold your own screenings of the original Winter Soldier, and when we finally produce a documentary on the Winter Soldier Iraq and Afghanistan, we ask you to screen that. It's also going to be broadcast live, and we can get you information for that. So when it March 13th through the 16th, and we'll get you details on things that I don't remember offhand. But yeah, please do look at the website www.ivaw.org, and we would greatly appreciate that if you would you know, break the silence on this. And I just say, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. We've been at the office, you know, we've been coordinating media contacts with international media, from, you know, CNN to The Guardian in London to Al Jazeera, and you know, we expect it to be a pretty big media event. You know, but at the same time, historically, you know, the shit that's you know, been started, you know, has begun in places like this. You know, it's begun at the grassroots level, starting with people like you that actually give a shit about what's going on, and that aren't afraid, you know, that are patriotic enough to have the intellectual honesty and moral courage to relook at, you know, what we're doing and say, you know, maybe this isn't right. You know, maybe we need to look again. And so I just thank you all again for coming out tonight. And who's up next? Garrett. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have heard from the generals. We have heard from the politicians. We have heard from the media. Now it's time to hear from the ground, from the troops. My name is Carlos Harris, and I am a veteran against the war. From March 13th to March 16th, 2008, scores of veterans will be in Washington, D.C. to give eyewitness accounts of what they have seen and what we have experienced in Iraq and Afghanistan. We are the Winter Soldiers. We refuse to shrink from service. The time for speaking out is now. For more information on Winter Soldier and to see our testimony, visit www.ivaw.org.
We can pull the trigger, push the button, and follow the command.